Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Alara Sage. She is a womb shaman, a Shakti activator, an ecstatic life mentor, and a podcast host. Welcome, Alara. It is such an honor and a pleasure to have you here. I'm so happy to be able to have this time to sit and speak with you. How are you doing today?
Yay. Thank you so much, Brad. We've been scheduling this for a while. It's so good to be here with you.
Yes, it's so good to finally have the opportunity. Like you said, we've been trying for what seems like months and months to get this done. So I am so grateful to finally have you here and have the opportunity to sit down and share about the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do, a little bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in and get started. That first of all, that is one hell of a lot of hats you wear. You have quite the resume. Now, these titles and hats you wear seem to be very closely tied together with a similar thread. But I have to say, I absolutely love that you use the titles mentor, shaman, activator to describe the work you do, as opposed to the typical terms that people use or the typical term that people use of coach. And so I'm curious, why have you decided to not use the word coach? And was this a conscious decision? And if so, why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. As I've always felt into that word, it's just never resonated with me. Mentor seems to be, I don't even know like logically why. Vibrationally, it lights me up. Coach feels a little bit more rigid and cold. I think traditional. Let's call it traditional.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of women lately that I'm speaking with, they don't like using the word coach. It just does not, as you said, it doesn't resonate for them. It doesn't feel good for them. So I think we're seeing a shift in using that word. I mean, there's still a ton of people out there that use the word to describe what they do, but I like it. I think it's great to see a different term being used as opposed to coach. Now, I want to jump into your work as a womb shaman first. We'll start there. What inspired you to become a womb shaman, and how did your journey begin? Was there a pivotal moment in your life that led to that was the catalyst for you to jumping into this field of work?
Yes, all of it was divinely orchestrated. I mean, even when that term came to me from my higher self, I didn't even know what it was. My higher self was like, "You're a womb shaman." I was like, "I'm a what?" Okay. And I was already embodied of it at that time, but I didn't even fully understand it. And I didn't even use it for many years because I didn't fully understand what it meant. But through my spiritual awakening of my Kundalini activation, I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening that began my journey of embodiment and really connecting to and understanding my feminine power. And through that process of further connecting to that, embodying that, and activating other women that is where those natural gifts that came through me started to show themselves.
Present themselves to you. So what is womb wisdom, and why is it important for women, in your opinion, to reconnect with this aspect of themselves?
I always say the womb is such an extraordinary organ. It is the only organ that literally takes ethereal energy and creates it into physical form. That should honestly drop all of our jaws.
Yeah.
We should all be like, wow, that's incredible.
Yep.
And we don't. We hardly talk about it. We only speak about it when it comes to bearing children. And yet it is a vessel of creation. And in the womb, there is a portal to the cosmic womb, to the womb of creation itself. So there is a great deal of potentiality of creative life force energy and of wisdom, the feminine, regardless of sexual identity. We all have feminine energy.
Yep.
And the wisdom, the feminine is the wisdom bearer, the wisdom holders. Understanding this for women is reconnecting them to their source of creative potentiality that they can use to create their reality. It's also connecting them to the power of their cycles. Women have cycles during their menstruation lifespan, and there is a flavor to those cycles, and there's power in how it ebbs and flows. And also, the womb is our portal to our ancestral energy as women. And again, that lineage of wisdom.
How incredible is that? The vessel and birthing, whatever it is, not just human beings, but birthing creativity, birthing ideas. It's so many levels.
Yes. And it is a birth. Everything we
Yeah,
create actually
absolutely.
goes through that exact process of sperm meeting egg, fertilization,
Yeah.
gestation, and birth. I mean, every
Yeah.
time I go through birthing something, that is what transpires.
Yeah, just because it's not a human in human form or a child does not mean that it's still not birthing. You are birthing something. That's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
What are some of the specific healing practices and rituals that you use in your work to help women access and understand the wisdom held within the womb?
One thing is just taking women to the awareness, teaching them how to connect to that, to breathe into that, beginning to feel their womb and to communicate to their womb. Because guess what? Your womb has a lot to say. Dare you open that door? And I help, one of my aspects of what I do is I help women to conceive babies. And it just blows my mind how much they're listening to outside sources, right? They're listening to apps, tell them where they are in their cycle. They're listening to doctors and external factors when our womb has all of that information. We just have to breathe and connect. So I teach women how to breathe into their womb, connect to their womb, listen to their womb. And then one of the more powerful things I really teach is what I call creator consciousness. And that's understanding that power in our womb. And for men, the hara. So men have the hara, which is the energetic center of the womb.
Okay.
And connecting that to our heart. So our heart is the seat of our soul, has all of the desires that we are meant to live in this life. And those desires are the breadcrumb trails to our unique genius, who we are at our most expanded, most extraordinary, most divine expression in human form, and really the life that is the most filling, joyous, and ecstatic. And when we connect our womb with our heart and or hara, it creates a magnetic energy. That the sacral, that is a magnetic energy. And so it begins to draw in, to pull opportunities, energies that are aligning, that desire to serve that energy of the heart. And so we become these really magical creators.
Beautiful. Thank you for that explanation. What role do you believe that modern society plays in disconnecting women from their wombs, and how can this be fixed? How can we remedy this?
I mean, when women start there's no conversation, right? Like we start our cycles and it's here's some tampons, enjoy yourself. It sucks. I mean, it sucks. Step one, it sucks. Meanwhile, there's so much power in it. So, of course, just the lack of conversation, the lack of communication, the lack of celebration, lack of honor. And that just completely disconnects us. And then, okay, now it's something that we don't like. It's something that's painful. Let me do whatever I can to numb the pain, to take my awareness away from my womb. PMS is not really normal.
Right.
It is not, we are not meant to have these emotional outbursts, these intense pain. All of these symptoms women go through are really stuffed and stored and trapped energy. When we
Okay.
really liberate those energies, our cycles, not to say there isn't a little bit of discomfort, but are radically quite liberating and immensely powerful. So having these conversations, connecting to the womb and realizing that power is what society is desperately needing.
So PMS doesn't have to be what you're saying. It doesn't have to be as painful and disconnected as it is then. It doesn't, women don't have to go through so much discomfort. It's these
Absolutely
energies
not.
that are trapped within that need to be let out.
Yes, all of that. When they say, "Oh, you hit these emotional outbursts," when I work
Yeah.
with women, all of those symptoms disappear.
Wow.
And they're like, "Wow, I've always had such bad PMS emotionally," right? Like the
Mhm.
dragon, and then all of these symptoms, and then it comes down to, okay, the very very first day, there's some discomfort as there is actual muscle contractions going
Yeah.
on, and that's it. And actually this deepening into your body and into your wisdom. So it becomes, again, this empowerment process rather than this pain in your ass process.
But you're right. Conversation is a big part of this, but it's also part of everything. We don't talk about shit.
Yeah.
We're too scared to talk about things that are taboo or people don't want to talk about. And in my opinion, the only way forward through shit or for change is to talk about it. We have to have the discussions. As uncomfortable as they may be for some, too bad. It's got to be talked about.
Absolutely. I mean, discomfort is the only way forward. It's the only way in creating exactly what you want. Screw it. Get really comfortable with discomfort.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Can you share what some of the common emotional or spiritual blockages may be that you encounter in your clients, and how do you help them overcome these?
Yeah. So one of the things, unworthiness, inadequacy is kind of something that all humans seem to be really born into. And it's the real energy of the womb or of the hara, where we believe that we're unworthy, we believe that we're inadequate. And that really sits in our sacral chakra. And then we literally create those energies. We create unworthiness, we create not enoughness, we create lack, because the sacral and the feminine power that exists within all humans is the energy of resource of wealth. And so when we have the inadequacy there, we're creating the inadequacy of wealth. The other energy that I work very deeply with, because it's very personal to me and I'm very passionate about it, is shame, which is really largely rooted in our sexual energy and our sexual power. And it's one of those things that most people aren't even aware of because it has been passed down generation after generation. You don't even have to have had much trauma sexually to be carrying a lot of shame. Humans are not, we don't have a good relationship with our sexual energy and our sexual power. We've held so much shame there. And that shame is like a dam. It just suppresses all of your personal power and creative life force energy.
What's so funny to me about this whole thing with the sexual energy and how it's taboo, and we've been conditioned that sex is something that you don't talk about openly and you don't express your sexuality and all of these things. And a lot of it comes from, let's be honest, parental and religious conditioning.
Yes.
So what boggles my mind the most about this is the fact that we are all born out of the act of sex. So what the fuck is the problem here? Like, it's mind blowing to me. Why are we so hung up on this shit when this is how we're brought into the fucking world? Why can't we talk about it?
The reason is because it's so powerful, Brad. So we've been in societies where there's been suppression of power. And we're not victims of it. Like, it's been a part of our evolution as humanity. But there have been a lot of energies and entities and beings have wanted to suppress power. And the best way to do that is suppress your sexuality.
Fucking mind blowing. We need to free things. We need shit needs to change. And again, it starts with conversation, talking about it. There's nothing shameful around sex and sexuality. We are emotive and sexual beings, period. There's no way around that. You can't argue with it. It is what it is. It's a biological fact.
The entire universe is sexual.
There you go.
Everything is the act of sex. Literally. Yeah. When you see that, it's wow, it's just happening constantly all around you.
Mind blowing, honestly. How does your work address, you briefly mentioned the menstrual cycle. So how does it address menstrual health and reproductive issues from a shamanic perspective?
Absolutely. So, what a great question, because when I work with women in this space, I love Western medicine. I have a lot of respect for it, and it has its limitations.
Yes.
And they're always like going straight to the symptom and trying to rectify the symptom. Whereas it's really incredible when we just start speaking to the womb, it tells us everything.
Hmm.
Tells us everything that's going on. And it's usually something to do with, guess what? Suppression of feminine power
Hmm.
and the reclamation of that. And when we go into the energies, we find a lot of dysfunction between mother daughter relationships. We find a lot of sexual trauma. And we also find energy that is held in past life and fear of, death and abortions and miscarriages and all of these spaces. And as soon as we just speak to those energies and heal them, the health comes back into the body. The body is so miraculous.
It is. It's magical.
So
A powerful
magical.
creation. And again, there's a common theme here throughout everything. Conversation, talking about
Yes.
it. You need to talk. You need to talk to your womb. We need to have conversations with people to get into this stuff and bring the awareness around it.
Yeah, because just taking pills or cutting out the womb or whatever, it doesn't get to the root cause. It's still there. Whatever that dysfunctional energy distortion is, carries forward and it'll just continue to somehow affect your life.
Yeah, that's the MO of Western medicine, though. They don't get
Yes.
to the root cause. It's band-aids over bullet holes. That's what they do.
Yes.
That's it. How do you stay grounded and centered in your work, especially when you're dealing with these deep emotional and spiritual issues and healing?
I love it. I mean, I don't have any issue. I was at a ayahuasca ceremony the other day, and this man, after we were all done, and the next morning walked up to me, stared me right in the eye, and he says, "You love the deep energy." I think you just spend all your time there. And I was like, why wouldn't I? I don't know. To me, there just isn't anywhere that I honestly don't feel that I can't go with people
Hmm.
and with clients. And there's a great joy that I find in holding that space for them and feeling it with them. And I've learned one of my teachers has been Kali Ma, and
Hmm.
Kali Ma is a very intense representation of femme power. But what she has taught me is we have the capacity to literally consume any energy. And she's
Okay.
taught me how to do this. And so I love to be in it with my clients and to literally energetically consume that energy with them. I don't know. I guess I get off on it.
Plain and simple. That's the only explanation. For those out there, I want to dive into the Shakti activator now. For those out there who might not know what a Shakti activator is and does, could you explain a little bit about the energy and the work you do?
Yes. So Kundalini Shakti, Kundalini is referred to the coiled serpent energy before it is activated and then it becomes Shakti. So Kundalini Shakti is creative life force energy. It is creative life force energy that all humans carry, regardless of anything. And it's in everything. Everything that you see has creative life force energy. And it is dormant in our body. And as we awaken, it is the primordial femme. So even though it is the primordial femme, again, it's found in all humans.
Hmm.
And as she awakens, she moves up the body and she's healing. Western medicine, the cross with the two serpents, that
Hmm.
symbol comes from Kundalini. They
Oh,
acquired
okay.
it from that practice, ironically enough, because she's very healing. As she moves through your body, she releases, she restores, she rejuvenates, and she awakens. And ultimately, as she moves all the way up to the crown, she reaches Shiva, which is divine union of self, which is full
Okay.
liberation.
Okay. And how is Shakti energy activated?
So I had it just spontaneously activated in myself through my
Okay.
higher self. And then as I work with women, it happens because mine is already activated.
Okay.
And so just simply in the presence, but
Mhm.
I teach my clients how to breathe into that energy. One of the things I'm really adamant about is Shakti is consciousness and she is extremely wise. We don't need to go telling her what to do and manipulating her and forcing her. You just stay the F out of her way. And you have respect for her and you breathe into her and you hold that presence with her. And that's what I teach my clients to do is where is that in your body, how to breathe into it, and then how to assist her to move through your body because she's going to do it. How do you work with her in your body to open up your body, to release those energies and empower yourself through the process?
Incredibly powerful. What differentiates Shakti energy from other forms of spiritual energy?
Many of the other lineages, like the Egyptians called it Sekhem, it's the same thing.
Okay.
The Chinese call it Qi. I don't know if the Chinese lineages speak of the evolution of it, but they do speak to the creative life force energy. Prana, it's all the same.
Okay.
The only difference is the process, the awakening and the journey of Shakti up the body, which you can literally feel happen. And it's ultimately the ascension process. And she's awakening on our planet. So she's coming back alive on our planet and in our human bodies.
Okay. Thank you for that. In what ways do you embody Shakti energy in your daily life and practices?
I mean, she's a part of everything I do. As soon as I take my awareness to her, she wakes up and lights up. And one of my things I always say is bliss hits, because when I'm speaking truth, I get hit with bliss. I get aroused. I get alive. She's so much of who I am and everything that I bring forth to both my life and how I utilize her and my sexual. Important thing to note, all sexual energy is Shakti.
Okay.
Not all Shakti is sexual.
Okay.
I use that energy in the act of sex. I use sexual magic to create. I use her to consciously create my reality. I live it.
You embody it. That's it.
I embody it.
How does activating Shakti energy empower individuals and by extension, their communities?
It's liberation. I mean, it truly is the liberation of self. And when we think of liberation, we think a lot to do with outside of ourselves. But that liberation of self is really what I was speaking to earlier about our unique genius. You're liberating the most authentic version of you, which feels so fucking good. I mean, it's you in your home. It's you in your truth. And when you are in that, just so much like you speak to, Brad, it's that light. You shine so bright and it feels so good to shine that bright. All you want to do is shine brighter, be bigger, take up more space. And that inspires everybody around you. Oh my God, what are you smoking? Give me some of that.
I want in on some of that shit. Whatever Alara's got, whatever Brad's got, I want some of that. It's one of the most incredible feelings in the world when you are fully in your authenticity, in your power. There's fucking nothing like it. It's hard to put into words because I've been feeling a lot of that lately. It's almost like I'm vibrating. And it just feels so fucking good. I feel like a little kid in a candy store. It's just all of those things. It's so powerful. There aren't enough words in the English language to fully express and describe how it feels. It's unbelievable. I wish everyone could feel it. I really do.
I do too. And that's why we're doing what we're doing is that. And the amazing thing about it is there's never a ceiling.
No.
Right? You're like, wow, I just embodied more. And then, wow, I just like, whoa, like this is just so intense.
Continuously expanding and growing. And you're right. When we do that, when we stand up and we step into that and we shine that bright, other people, they naturally are drawn to you. It's a magnet.
Yes.
But they want that too. And that's what it's about, is giving that, sharing that light, shining that light on others so that they too can step into that. That gives them permission to do that and feel that fucking good.
Yes.
Like
feel
it's infectious.
That fucking good. Yes. Yes. And it makes life is always going to have challenges from my perspective. That's the spice of life. Yep. That's how we learn. That's how we expand. But those challenges become, like you said, like a kid in a candy store, they become playful.
Yes.
They become enjoyable in and of themselves.
Well, you learn to move through them easier, I
Yes.
think. I mean,
Yes.
of course, there's different levels of, we'll say, pain or struggle through challenges. But I think when you can step into that and embrace those challenges as they come, find, again, I think this speaks to a part of it too, is being able to pull yourself out of the situation, look into it from an outsider's point of view, and pull the lesson or the gift or the nugget, whatever it is,
Yeah.
out of that to allow yourself to move forward. But you're learning as you go through each struggle to get through them a little bit easier. Like you said, you can embrace that more playful energy, of
Yes.
course, depending on the struggle and the situation you're going through. But it helps you move through the things easier with more flow.
Absolutely. More flow. Yes.
Yeah.
And all pain has the potential to be bliss. It's the
Yeah.
same energetic coin.
It's fucking beautiful. I love it. So, speaking of challenges, what personal challenges have you faced on your journey in particular, and how have they contributed to your growth as a Shakti activator?
Wow. So I had one recently in 2021 where all of my money was stolen. And I was told it was going to happen by my higher self. That doesn't make it necessarily any easier. I was just prepared
Mm-hmm.
for it. And I had been denying the shame that I was holding in my sexual energy and thus my personal power and my ability to access wealth. And when it happened, I was like, oh, I'm good. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just full steamed ahead. And instead of what I presumed I would thus create out of that, everything, my business, everything collapsed and everything just fell out from underneath me. And I was forced to really face what are my beliefs around my sexual power, around money, around my inadequacy, worthiness, and really look at those energies and come into healing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had been creating success before that, but it was unstable success
Right.
because it was all built on really my belief of inadequacy. So it was shaky.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not truly success, for one, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Mm-hmm.
because it can so easily just be chopped right out from underneath you, which is
Yeah.
what happened to me.
Yeah.
So from that, really coming into terms with, again, that shame and inadequacy and healing that of myself and rebuilding all of that energy with this solid foundation that feels so different.
Mm-hmm.
It really does feel like I'm standing on solid foundation. So was the most challenging experience of my entire life.
And
And
again, those create who we are.
yeah, and because I had always just I had always just created exactly what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That the fact that all of a sudden I wasn't creating what I wanted, that was a tough one. That hit my ego hard.
Yeah.
Wait, I even questioned, wait, do I even know what I'm talking about? I'm always like, oh, you can create whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But here I wasn't because I had to look at those underlying energies. And I cannot express the depth of gratitude that I have for that experience because when something comes easy to us, we're not always the best teachers.
No.
Because it's just, I don't know, just do it. It just happens. I don't know how to do it. So when we're having to face it and we're having to really resolve that situation, we learn so much more. So I am in so much more conviction of everything that I was already teaching in a deeper level of truth.
Which creates a more powerful experience for your clients as you're teaching them.
Absolutely.
How has your own understanding and experience of Shakti energy evolved over time, would you say?
I mean, when I had my first awakening, I didn't even know what she was. She shot through my body. I had full body orgasm and I didn't even know what happened to me. So it's evolved quite a lot.
From here to here. So expansive.
But also, when I first started really connecting to her and what she represented, this was again before my money was stolen and I went through all this. I was greedy for that power. I was like, wow, she's so powerful because I could feel her.
Yeah.
coursed through me. I was like, yes, I just want to wake this up and have all this power and wealth and sexual power. It's all the same energy.
Mm.
And so it's gone from like this greed to this absolute honor and humility. And just, you tell me where to go. You tell me what to do. I am in service from my heart and from all of me. It's a state of devotion.
Trusting and allowing.
Yes.
Can you describe, I want to jump into now your work as an ecstatic life mentor. Can you describe your own transformation and how you discovered the path to living an ecstatic life?
So when I had my the Kundalini awakening, I've had several spiritual awakenings. I was just driving my car one day, and my higher self told me to Om 3 times, which at that time in my life, I didn't practice oming, but I knew what it was. So I Ommed, and energy shot through my body, and I went into full body orgasm in driving the car. And I pulled over.
Yeah.
And
because you got to be safe while you're driving.
You got to enjoy. I mean, come on. I had never had a full body orgasm, Brad. I had never had a full body orgasm in sex, let alone driving my car randomly down the road. Me in that time of my life, orgasm in and of itself was very challenging.
Okay.
It was very mentalized for me. I was very shut down in my sexual energy. So everything had to be just so. I had to really think really hard and concentrate, focus. And then sometimes it would happen, and it was very what's called a localized orgasm, which if anybody's listening, that is nothing like what you are truly capable, which is a multidimensional experience of orgasm and bliss. And yeah, wow, what an awakening, right? Because I didn't even know such a thing was possible.
Yeah.
And then outside of that entire experience, what it really showed me was I was living numb. I was living shut down. Even the things in my life that I seemingly enjoyed lacked luster, lacked aliveness. And that awakening was just the beginning of my process to understand the depth of my suppression. But through that process, the aliveness, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I can light myself up in full body orgasm no matter what
On
now.
command.
On command. The amount of aliveness, the amount of bliss, and the amount of joy that I now have access to it. And just like I said, I played a lot with the energy of pain and transmuted pain, physical pain, emotional pain in and of myself and of my clients into bliss. And just really understanding this is, in my belief, who we truly are. We are these ecstatic beings. And yeah, I've literally gone through the journey of awakening that in and of myself.
And letting people know that this is possible for anyone and everyone.
Yes.
Because you hear so often, I hear a lot, speaking with a lot of women, the whole orgasm thing is a very difficult thing for a lot of women, that a lot of women don't experience it.
Yeah. And
you being able to experience a full body on command, every woman has that ability.
Yes. Yes.
Holy
and
shit.
I mean, I want to speak to the women because I didn't even really enjoy sex. I was a very sexual person. I wanted it, but in the act of it, it never felt good to me. And I had to release so much energy out of my sexual organs. So I've worked with women who have struggled to orgasm. I've worked with women who orgasm just fine, but holy hell, they had no idea like the capacity that's truly available to them.
Yeah.
Because yes, it is absolutely, you're not broken. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And you have this ability of deep pleasure.
How would you define an ecstatic life? What are some of the core principles that it encompasses?
It definitely encompasses pleasure and the truth that in every moment that is available to us, no matter what we are experiencing, we tend to say, when I go on a holiday, I'll gift myself pleasure. When I go to a party, hang out with these certain people, I'll gift myself pleasure. But the truth is that you're robbing yourself of the life that you really want, in the understanding that pleasure is available all the time. And when we embody that pleasure, it's like putting on those pink sunglasses, right? All of a sudden, your life is lit up with pleasure, even those uncomfortable moments. So it's really about the embodiment of that pleasure and allowing that pleasure, allowing that aliveness to then infiltrate, to project, to penetrate your reality.
To permeate, to just embody it, to live it.
Yes.
What are some specific techniques or practices that you use to guide others towards living an ecstatic life?
The breath is one of my favorite because, for one, it's free and it's always there. And we underutilize the hell out of it. And when you breathe into your body, you open, you create space. I mean, literally, as you breathe in, your body expands. There is an immediate expansion there. And when you exhale, you release, you let go. So the mechanism is already there. And when you consciously breathe, for one, you open your fields, you open your energetic centers, you take up more space, which allows energy to move through your body. It allows emotion to just fly out of you. It allows stored trauma to shift and move out of you easily. And it allows you to hold a bigger container. So I always say, if you have paint, if you have white paint, you have a lot of white paint, and you drop some black paint in there, it just dissolves, it just goes away.
Right.
If you have a tiny little bit of white paint and you add black paint, now you have black paint. So if you make yourself big with your breath, you're expanding, you're opening yourself. Those little discomforts, those emotions that don't feel good, the challenges are that little tiny drop of black paint in the energetic space of your light. The other thing about the breath is, for one, it brings us into our body because that's where it's rooted.
Yeah.
So it's great about bringing us into presence. And in the energy and the conversation of orgasm, what you can do is, when you are feeling lit sexually, if that's the act of sex or in just in life, if you breathe into it, you actually expand that out into your bliss body. And initially it feels like that pleasure goes away. But if you keep doing that, you fill up your bliss body. And then when you reach orgasm, that entire orgasm goes through your entire body and being, rather than that localized space. So the breath is the portal to that full body and multidimensional orgasm.
Learn how to breathe, people.
Yes.
It can help you in so many areas of your life. In what ways does this ecstatic living align with the broader quest for personal and collective enlightenment?
The ecstatic self, the bliss body, is our sixth density consciousness. And this is the evolution of our being, is through the 8 densities, not dimensions. And sixth density consciousness is the density of unification. That's why it's blissful, because it's the full unified self. And so when we are really understanding and embodying that level of consciousness, we're literally bringing the energy of unification to humanity.
What is one tip or takeaway that you could provide that listeners can implement immediately in order to start experiencing more joy and ecstasy in their lives?
Definitely the breath, as I mentioned before, but I will say presence. And one of the greatest tools I found for presence is, you know how we joke about, like, men can only have 3 items on a list? Your brain really works on those 3 items. So if you give your brain 3 things to focus on. So for instance, right now I'm focusing on what I'm sitting on, and that's a point of touch. And then simultaneously, I focus on my breath and breathing. So I'm feeling that touch and I'm noticing the breath. And then the third thing is, I'm just allowing for sound. So that could be, if you're listening to this conversation, it could be the sound of my voice. If you're just sitting in silence, it's the sound of silence. And if you hold your awareness on those 3 things, you sink into presence energy. And presence is everything to do with your power, with your ability to really fully engage with that power. And like I said, be able to transmute these energies, be able to alchemize your pain into pleasure, be able to really sit in challenge and discomfort, because there is nothing, there is no experience, there is no energy that you can't be fully present in if you just simply allow and relax. And everything moves much slower, and it gives you that time to consider the potentialities, take aligned action rather than just reacting. It drops your stress levels down. I've gone through all kinds of stressful circumstances smiling simply because of my ability to stay present in my body.
I love that you share that, because I think it's so very important, especially in today's world where everything is so fucking fast paced and on to the next and on to the next and on to the next. We need to be more present. We need to slow down. Yes. Breathing. We need to enjoy what's around us, enjoy the sights, enjoy the sounds, enjoy the smells, all of these things, and be present. And when you're in a conversation with someone, fucking be present in the conversation. It's so important. But there's so many people that just don't. They can't slow down. They can't be present in the moment, especially when you're alone. Being present is so important. Being present with yourself is so important. And people have a lot of trouble with that.
I love so much that you bring that up, Brad, because when we want to connect to higher streams of consciousness, when people want to have insights and inspirations, and they want these downloads, and they want all of this creative energy, we find that in that aloneness, in that quiet, in that neutral state of being where you're not doing, but you're also not receiving. You're not listening to something. You're not inputting. You're just beingness, isness, presence.
Absolutely, 100%. But I think that speaks to the fact that a lot of people don't like their own company. They can't even stand being with them, around themselves. They need to be always on the go or always have people around them. There are a lot of people out there like that. And I think we need to get used to, and this ties into self-love, in my opinion, we need to get used to being around ourselves and loving our company. Because in the end, really, when it really comes down to it, that relationship with self is the fucking most important relationship you'll ever have in your life, and the longest standing one. You better learn to fucking love yourself.
Yes. And it's really the only one. I mean, there really are no others. They're all projections and creations of ourself. The only relationship you truly have is with yourself. And I love how you say how most people can't even stand themselves. And that goes back into that shame. It goes back into those feelings of inadequacy. They're painful.
Yeah.
So why would we want to be in that pain? Let's just busy ourselves, distract ourselves. And yet they're continuing to fall forward in life instead of really liberate those energies and connect to that authentic self that we were talking about.
And listen, I'm not trying to be flippant and say that you just need to learn to love yourself. It's not easy. It takes work. It's hard work. But you have to, I mean, as we said, that relationship is the most important one. So you have to be able and be willing to own that and start to learn to love yourself. Do the work, because it does take work.
And I always simultaneously say, yes, it takes work, but you know what? It actually takes much more work to continue. It's just work that we're familiar with. So it's like we don't acknowledge how much effort it takes, so much energy to go against your authentic self. That's why people are exhausted. That's why people are drained. That's why people are overwhelmed. Those energies come from going up against the river, constantly walking against the river. But because that's what they're used to, that's all they know. When, seemingly going with the flow and moving towards yourself seems like more work, but it's actually a lot less.
Yeah. It can open up a whole new world that you didn't even know existed, and a whole new way of living.
And lots of orgasm.
There you go. Now, I want to speak a little bit. I know you are also the creator of the Unity. So I want to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about that, what it's all about, when you started it, what was the inspiration behind it? Tell us all the things, Unity Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking to what I said earlier about our sixth density consciousness, the ecstatic self, the blissful self, that is unity consciousness. So, really, for me, all of my work comes back to that relationship with self. And I teach creator consciousnesses, which is how to consciously create your reality. And through that, we come more into that ecstatic self. So, that Unity Academy, I have a bunch of different programs. Basically, it's like a membership. You get all access to all of my stuff, as well as we do bi-weekly embodiment sessions. And those are so powerful. I mean, I could never pretend that we're just breathing and embodying because I'm always shifting a tremendous amount of energy. And those sessions in and of themselves, people find so much transformation, just how much more peace, relaxation they come into just from those sessions, how they start to be able to actually look at themselves, like we talked about, able to actually look at their life and really see, wow, I don't want this anymore. I want to create something different. So those embodiment sessions are radically transformative. And we do those twice a month. And then there's all of this teaching because I am a teacher just by trade, by my life. I am an activator and I consume energy like Ma Kali. So
There we go. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I also mentioned off the top that you are the host of a podcast, which I have had the pleasure and the honor. The very first male ever.
yeah.
Again, I just want to say thank you for that incredible honor. I am so grateful to you for giving me that opportunity to share my journey and the work I do on your stage. So thank you for that. I would love for you to share with us a little bit about the podcast, what it's all about. Is it interview style? Is it so? Well, obviously it's interview, but do you do solo episodes as well? And what inspired you to start a podcast?
Yeah, so it's called the Ecstatic Woman Podcast. And the whole objective is to activate and inspire women in their power, in their authenticity, and in their bliss. I do have male listeners, and I do guest episodes, as you so wonderfully were a part of. We celebrated Brad being the first man. It was so wonderful. He held such a beautiful masculine energy, which
Thank you.
have no doubt your entire audience is very familiar with. And so every Thursday we have the guest episodes, and then every Tuesday I do solo episodes where I get to really go deep into my story, into topics, and really bring forth wisdom and inspiration. And I love to present. I love to teach. When I was a little girl, I used to have a whiteboard in my room. I'd line up all my stuffed animals and I would talk all day long. Presenting and teaching has always been my thing. And I was doing it on various platforms. And just to kind of talk to today, there's still a lot of taboo about these topics. And I was getting censored in these spaces. And no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't talk about that. And I was like, forget about it. I'll just create my own space where nobody can censor me. As a podcast is a lot of work. As hosts, we really put our energy, our love into it, but it is such a beautiful expression. And just an ability to share wisdom from all different lives, all different people. I love having the guests on. I love picking their brain, lighting them up. It's such a beautiful part of our trade.
Yeah, it is. It's such a powerful medium. And to be able to shine a light on these guests, on these people who are doing incredible things in the world, these women that are doing incredible things in the world, and to give them the stage to share that with others, to help reach and inspire other women who listen to the podcast and other men. It's an incredible thing. It's an incredible gift to be able to give people. It really is. It's so powerful and so beautiful. Alara, what do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I am really courageous, or is it naive? I don't know. I've always kind of bordered that. People have always said, "Oh, you're courageous." And I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of did something. I didn't really realize what it all entailed. So yeah, courageous / naive.
You're straddling the fence. You got a leg in each world or a foot in each world. Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
It's that feeling in my body. It's that feeling where I feel fulfilled in my life. I feel that gratitude. Gratitude wasn't always easy for me. And I don't think gratitude should be something we have to practice. it comes organically when we are living in that success. We just feel so immensely grateful for who we are and the life we get to live.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
Humility. I had a shaman the other day when I was in the ayahuasca ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
He said a beautiful thing, and we were talking about ego, and he said, you have to have a strong ego to be successful, to be these things. Like the people that we see that we think, wow, they've created so much. They did that because they had a strong ego. And then of course there's this balance of having that humility. And it's such a beautiful understanding of personality and the ownership of who we are. And then, as always, that realization that we're all one, and that it only all comes to fruition through the love and the connection, the devotion to others and to humanity.
Yeah, that's why we're all here, is to be in and of service to one another, to help each other. It's so important. And so many people don't even realize that. They don't get it. And it's so sad, because you just think of what the world could be if everybody stepped into that energy and realized that's why you're here, really.
It goes back to you.
Yeah,
it all comes back to you times whatever amount, right? It comes back to you so much bigger and grander and more spectacular.
Yeah, it does. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
To me, empowerment is that realization of our personal power. So the ownership that we are ultimately limitless beings. We can truly create anything we desire. And then learning how to juggle that, right? Learning how to bring that power forward, learning how to apply it into action that, again, serves the one.
Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. Okay, ready?
Yep.
If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would that be?
This girl is on fire.
Love it. Get the singing and everything. Beautiful. I love
that. Always comes into my head all the time. So it must be it.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Definitely presence.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Peace.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Ridiculous.
I love that. What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
I'm a really wonderful mother.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
I love going out into Mother Gaia.
That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I threw in a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. If other people could use 3 words to describe you, what would you want those 3 words to be?
Intense, joyful, and a little quirky. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see all 3 of those. Very good descriptors. Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you and why?
It's been my partner. He forced me to see myself, and I wanted nothing to do with it. And my higher self slapped me so many times when we first met. He wasn't spiritual. He wasn't what we would call conscious. And yet he was such a beautiful reflector for me. He's transformed my life.
Beautiful. What is your why?
After being so numb and so shut down, I have this immense power, this immense passion that all women, but all people get to experience what bliss really feels like in the body, and that they can have that in every single moment.
Love it. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
I would ask me what I am obsessed with and addicted to. Cacao. I have a motto of Alara runs on cacao. It's 3 or 4 couples every single day. Cacao is a heart opener. And so it is an addiction, but it's plant medicine. And it's an addiction. I'm not going to pretend that it's something
all right.
spiritual.
Let's just call it what it is.
It tastes good.
There you go. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
I would want to talk to, do they have to be alive?
Nope.
I would definitely want to speak to Mother Mary.
Okay.
She was a high priestess and she knew how to use her sexual power. And yeah, I would just want to be in her presence. I wouldn't even need to ask her any questions.
Just sit in her presence
Just
for an
sit
hour.
with her.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
That people aren't out to get you. I've had a lot of betrayal and a lot of pain with other people, so much that I created so many walls of protection. And I was the one creating all of it. I was projecting it all out. And just really, I hope that she would hear me, and I hope that she would take those steps to connect with people and let down those walls.
Beautiful. Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
My love, you are so powerful. And in the process of believing in your power, taking action steps in your power, you will blow your mind. And every single time you come up against the greatest of challenges, the biggest of walls, massive hole in front of you, and you stand in your courage, you embody your power, and you move towards it, you will awaken your divinity and the light of God that exists within you.
Wow. Drop the mic. We're done. Alara, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I have thoroughly and absolutely enjoyed every minute of our conversation. You're a beautiful, bright light in the world, doing incredible, necessary work in the world. So thank you for shining your light. Thank you for sharing your story, your wisdom, and your journey with me and the audience. I appreciate you. I am so grateful to call you a friend and have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you.
Yes, as always, Brad, it's always such a delight sharing space with you, being a part of your community, everything that you create. I have so much respect for you and for your community. It's a beautiful community. It's a beautiful vibration. I am deeply honored to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. My honor and my pleasure. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Alara Sage. She is a womb shaman, a Shakti activator, an ecstatic life mentor, and a podcast host. Thank you so much, Alara. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.